Askreddit. How did you meet your significant other? About 17 years ago I was seeing this girl. We were both exchange students and had this short-lived, one-semester, love affair. It came time for her to leave and go home. I was staying for another semester. So I went with her to the train station. We held hands and kissed and held each other and cried about the fact that we were being forced apart because we were from different countries. It was all very dramatic and tragic. We promised each other we'd see each other again. It was heartbreaking. Anyway, on the bus ride home from the station I met a different girl. We're married. After living for a year without meeting in a small Thai village, we finally met on a festival in Hungary. He was dating my friend in 7th grade. They broke up and I asked if I could ask him out because I thought he was really cute. 15 years later and we are still together. Still in love. Username checks out I guess. I met my Tinderella, well on Tinder. It's been almost 3 years and I plan on proposing soon. Our entire high school only had like 300 kids, went there together for 4 years but never spoke a single time. She was the book nerd and I was the class clown, it never would have worked at the time. 5 years later our mutual friend introduced us, and we immediately hit it off. Now our strengths that divided us in high school make us stronger and more balanced as a couple. Through Bumble. I deleted that app so many times and pretty much gave up on dating when we met. I didn't put effort into my outfit and didn't wear makeup. I used to get my hair and nails done before a date and nothing ever happened. I guess I went in expecting us to be friends as we spoke over Facebook for weeks. We are getting married in November and are expecting our first child next year. Landing a backflip on my forehead. Actually I tried to impress her, slipped and crashed. She saw me from the far and went with me to the bar. It was an outside silent disco event. To get some bandages. I asked for her number and the rest is history. Frown. X ended it with me yet again, thankfully, but was still destroyed afterward. Was just casually dating on OKC and we clicked way more than I was looking for and realized as time passed that she's one of those ride or die types. I'm not used to having this kind of loyalty and support. I haven't told her yet but I'm getting close to buying a house for us. Never thought I'd want to settle down in my city but she wants to stay here so I might as well. Went to school with her brother. Got invited to his wedding, very small affair, got seated next to sister. Details matter, people. Take care when planning the seating, stuff might happen. It was a setup and you know it. Are you good friends with her brother? If you are then how come you weren't in the wedding party? Wait, why wasn't she a bridesmaid? I thought, whoa so many questions, let me get on high first. I met him at work and we struck up a conversation about our favorite bands. Turns out we both liked the Arctic Monkeys and for the rest of the shift that's all we talked about. It was an arranged meeting by a mutual friend. I had just went through a horrendous divorce, was in group counseling, and doing some charity work. Our mutual friend, call her Betty, mentioned that she worked with a young woman she thought I would get along with and wanted to introduce me to her. I was uninterested, as I was recently divorced and wanted to rediscover who I was and take time to heal. Betty worked with my, now wife, let's call Salsa, and kept telling her that she knew a guy, me, call me Green, at her group counseling session that would be perfect for Salsa. Salsa kept refusing to meet me, because she didn't want to be set up, and thought it would be too awkward to be introduced that way. One day I came into Betty and Salsa's work and needed to chat with Betty about some volunteer work I was doing. As Betty and I talked, Salsa wondered who I was and why I was talking to Betty. I was in my late 20s and Betty was in her early 50s. Salsa came up to meet me, but had chosen to wear a ring on her left hand that resembled a wedding ring. Upon seeing what I assumed was a wedding ring, gave her a polite hello, but proceeded to pretty much ignore her. After the meeting, Salsa asked Betty to introduce us the next time I came in, much to Betty's exasperation. That's who I have been trying to get you to meet. Meanwhile, Betty offered to cook me dinner, because I lived alone and pretty much had nothing, for doing some work for her organization. What Betty didn't tell me was she also invited Salsa to the same dinner. At dinner, Betty introduced me and Salsa, and as we ate dinner, she feigned having a headache and asked me to drive Salsa back home. The rest was magic. Turns out Green and Salsa really enjoyed talking, and I mean really talking, going to the beach, and science fiction. From meeting to married we spent 35 days dating and in 2 weeks we'll celebrate 23 years of marriage. I am so glad I went to dinner that night. Tilde on Ancestry tilde. I got invited to a sorority crush party by a girl in my major, call her A. Met a girl in passing, she was with someone, call her B. Was told B really liked me by A, and I needed to go on a date with her. Agreed to go out on a double with A&A's boyfriend, who was my best friend. Got there, had a few drinks, compared stories. I told B I really liked her and we needed to go on a date too. Laughed about the obvious setup. Got married 2 years later, been married over 25 years now.